are Melungeon. We are Melungeon.
Teaser of our new intro song for the Melungeon Voices podcast. But we're going to share the full release of the song for everyone called We Are Melungeon. And I want to send out a special thank you and shout out to all who were involved in making this happen. Allison Kerr, Seth Bolton, Maham Khan, John King, and Christian Axness. To learn more about the song and how it was created and to download it for free, we will have a link to in the notes to the special webpage for everyone. But now let's take a listen.
We've traveled very far. Where we've been is who we are. We are standing proud and strong. We'll use our strength to carry on. We are Melungeon. We are Melungeon. Our voices shouting our stories of our defeats and victories. We're unified, we stand as one. diversified nation that is finally home. We are Melungeon. We are Melungeon.
All right. I hope everyone enjoyed the new song. Let us know what you think of it in the comments. I absolutely love it. I'm so proud of this song. It's just amazing. So oh yes.
Oh, no, I was just going to say it's so wonderful to continue the story and to create new media, related to the Melungeon peoples. I'm just really excited for you all.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Brooke. Yeah, we're excited. It's great. It's a great song and a great so like you said, it's great to add to the Melungeon culture and history. Okay, so now I'd like to introduce our first guest of the season, Jess Arnold. Jess is an amateur genealogist and researcher and the creator of the new Melungeon Resource Center and online community called Melungeon Roots. She is a Melungeon descendant with deep roots in Eastern Kentucky. Hi, Jess.
Hi, Heather, and nice to meet you, Brooke, and hear about your work as well.
Yes, hi.
So, Jess, you're a Melungeon descendant. How and when did you discover your Melungeon ancestry? And tell us a little bit about the process.
Okay, Heather. So I had to think about that a bit, and I believe it was probably back in 2020, 2021. I had a little more time on my hands to do some research back then because of the pandemic. And at the time, all I knew about our ancestry was that we had a lot of brick walls in our family tree, and that on my mom's side, we were told we are part Cherokee, which I think was your oral history as well. And then on
Yes.
my dad's side, we have some other indigenous ancestry. There was no specific tribe named on that, like mentioned on that side, just that we're part Native American. So it was my research into our indigenous roots that brought me to some of the websites, including yours, talking about Melungeons. And as you know, Heather, without being able to trace back to a specific documented Melungeon family, you really have to look at all the clues. And the starting point for me, I think, was that my DNA results show I have European, African, and North American indigenous ancestry. And then after digging a bit deeper into my trace ancestries, which are even smaller percentages, I found there was Berber, Roma, Jewish, Akkadian, and others. And, these are all ancestries I had no idea about. So one test showed my top world population match based on my specific admixture is Trinidad, and there are other indicators of Afro-Caribbean ancestry as well, which is interesting to me. After that, I came across some of the surname references online and realized that my ancestors had a lot of shared names, not only with the Scotch Irish, who I knew was a part of my heritage, but also the Saponi, Catawba, Melungeon, and other free people of color in Virginia. So surnames in my tree, and I'm going to list these because these are the ones I'll be discussing as I post to the blog. Allen, Bean, Bennett, Boone, Brewer, Brooks, Campbell, Collins, Cox, Day, Gibson and Gibbs, Green, Hayes, Minor, Moore, Nichols, Russell, Scott, Sexton, Shepard, Taylor, Ward, and Wood. And some of these that are names that have been mentioned in your other Melungeon Voices episodes. And so I love looking back at those now that I know, about my ancestry, but my Collins ancestor lived in Morgan County, Kentucky, the same county where documented Melungeon Valentine Collins and some of his descendants lived, but she is a mystery and I don't know her parentage. I do know that her grandchildren had a very wide range of skin color from white to dark brown. And further back in that same lineage, we have ancestors who were buried under stone grave houses, which has come up in the podcast as well. I have other ancestors who lived in Hancock and Hawkins counties, which are main Melungeon counties in Tennessee, Letcher, Floyd, and McGaffin in Kentucky, Amherst, Lee, Scott, and Wise in Virginia, and Wilkes, Ash, Bertie, and Orange in North Carolina. So other clues, we also have rare blood disorders, which I think is something else we share in our family, and other traits which are often attributed to Melungeons like hypermobility, as well as quite a few traits that are more common in indigenous African and Afro-Caribbean populations. So with all of the clues combined, I'm fairly certain that I have many mixed ancestry and Melungeon lineages in my tree, and that is on both sides. That being said, there's still a lot to explore, and I'll be doing most of that privately within the Melungeon Roots community space. And to date, I have been doing mostly work on the back end of things, but now I'm going to start being more visible and active in the blog and forums and sharing my research with members in the format of special articles. So I'm ready to dig in.
Fantastic, Jess.
So, Jess, what I appreciate about you creating this website is, for me, I'm an Indigenous Chamorro from Guam, and I am mixed race. And I think you all can relate to being, I call it, a minor minority. There's not a lot of media representation about us. We have to kind of find our own history and heritage and share that with others. So I appreciate that you've created this space for your own communities to connect others. And, you know, that's the great thing about the internet, right? We have these spaces, and we're responsible kind of for creating these spaces ourselves to connect our own populations and communities. Can you talk more about your inspiration behind creating this website?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Brooke, because that's actually part of what I should have said was part of my discovery process. That when I first started, I think I ran across the word Melungeon a couple times before I realized that it applied to me. And it felt kind of obscure, like there wasn't a lot of information on it, but as time progressed, I started discovering more. But there were actually several things that inspired the project. The first being a sincere desire to uncover and retell my own ancestors' stories. And I knew that in order to make some real progress with that, I needed to gather all the relevant resources that I could and get my data organized in a way that would allow me to make more connections and piece things together a little better. As you probably know, it's just really complex, and so there's a lot to it. But I wanted to do this for myself and for others on the same journey. But I also feel it's my duty to my children. I have 2 boys to pass our family history on to them. And I just heard in a video by the Ashes Lab at North Carolina State, Dr. Clinton there said, that if we don't know where we've come from, then we don't know where we're going. And I just feel like that's so true. I mean, I think that having this knowledge about ourselves is so very empowering. And I hope that we can use the community that we're trying to build here as a place to heal and reconnect in ways that help us all feel a part of something much bigger than ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So like, I'm not on social media personally and haven't been for a long time. I struggle with it. And so I wanted to create a new, safe, private, drama-free place where folks can come and we can just get really serious about the work. And then the last thing that inspired me along the way, and Heather and I have talked about this, are all the signs, I guess, from the ancestors, who knows, that this project is just aching to be born. I mean, I'll be honest, over the last several years, I have tried to put it away several times out of frustration. It's been so much learning and like figuring things out and trial and error, because I don't have a technical background. I'm kind of just figuring things out as I go. And so been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but it kept presenting itself to me in different ways until I fully committed. And then I reached out to Heather, and I just have to say also that like the work of the Melungeon Heritage Association and all the guests of the Melungeon Voices podcast have all been and continue to be hugely inspiring to me as well. I'm trying not to get teared up. And especially the organizations and creators who have made it their mission to bring our history to light. Sometimes it feels like lonely work, and then you know, I remember the work that's going on out there, and like I said, I'm not on social media, but I'm finding new ways to kind of surround myself with those. Just staying informed basically in what's going on in that realm. So I'm excited.
And what I love is that you are future focused and you understand, you know, like history and future go hand in hand. What
Absolutely.
you do now is important for future generations, you know, as a mother, and it's a labor of love. And, you know, you're setting a good example for your children to continue this too.
Oh, thanks, Brooke. And I have to say too, I am actually the last of the female lineage, because I have two boys, and my brother is the last of our male lineage. So this is like, feels like kind of like an ending point, not an ending point, but a point where somebody needs to, you know, just try to get this all documented and help others do the same. I figure if I'm going to do this, all of this work to get organized for myself, why not put it online and make sure that other people can benefit from it as well. So that's the whole point behind it. So thanks for understanding that.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember, Jess, when you reached out to me early at the beginning of this year. I think it was like January-ish.
I think it was the end of year 2020.
Or yeah, oh yeah, December. It was in December. And it's so weird because it was meant to be, because I remember I had been the several months before that, I've been thinking, because we get a lot of emails from people who are just learning about their Melungeon heritage. And they're like, hey, I just learned about this. Can you guys help me find this ancestor or ancestors? And I'm like, oh man, we really need like this. We need something where we can have people go and find these ancestors that they're looking for, their Melungeon ancestors, because as you have already mentioned, for us, so many of us did not know about this ancestry. It was just kept on the down low. So having this website now as a database, a resource where now I can say, yes, we can help you find that ancestor, and then sending them to Melungeon Roots has just been a godsend.
Oh, thanks so much, Heather. So yeah, and as you'll see as we go through the website, it's really a work in progress, and I will be asking for like user submitted data so we can really get a lot of that filled out, because I've been spending so much time on the structure of it, and now it's time to really, fill in the data, and the structure that I've created allows us to organize that in ways that are more beneficial. But yeah, I agree. If you didn't know about it, like you're looking at your family tree in a whole new way. Like there were ancestors I couldn't locate, and now that I know that they could be named in a matrilineal way, or there were ancestors who took on the surnames of their enslavers, or there are so many different scenarios for Melungeons that you don't see on your traditional tree. So we have to go about it in a new way. So yeah, I'm happy to help with that.
And so you're going to be giving a tutorial today for our viewers and listeners on how to use this website.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get started, and just stop me if you have any important questions. Otherwise, I can answer those at the end, however you want to do that. So I will get started. So I'm first going to go over the features that are available now and how to use those. And then I'll go over some of the features that are in progress and what you can expect there. And then how to sign up for a membership if you'd like to do that, and how to use the community features. So originally this was going to be a recorded portion, a tutorial that I had prepared in advance that ended up being very much too long and too detailed and too boring. So we're just going to do this the casual way. So we'll get right to it. So to get to the website, it's melungeonroots.com. And I think okay, we switched to it. Okay. So yeah, let's get to it. And I have recently redone the web page. It is a work in progress, and this is the new homepage. If you haven't visited recently, this is within the last couple weeks, but it's pretty self-explanatory from here. But I'm going to go through some of the important things that you'll need to know that are most helpful just getting started. So this little magnifying glass up here is actually pretty huge. It contains a network search, which will allow you to search not only the resource center, but also any of the other pages. And there's over 1,000 pages on the website. So if you start there, you can search for instance, oh, I spelled it wrong. Sorry. Okay, let's try again. Melungeon. And there are all these different post types on this website, in addition to what you would normally see, which are just blog posts. So, and I have created these post types, and for each term that you search, you'll see there are all different types of posts that will show up. And you can click on, of course, any of those to go to those pages. Now, I will say some of these pages, for instance, the lists and roles and the ancestor pages, I am currently troubleshooting. There is a display issue on some of the template that actually pulls the data into it. So I will be on the homepage putting notes to that effect as far as what status some of those are in, but I may have to reach out for external help on those. But anyway, so you can, I'll just do a couple other examples here real quick. You can search for anything basically that you're researching, and you'll find different types of results. Now, you'll want to pay attention because sometimes there's more than what you're seeing on that first page. And then, like I said, if you click on any of these, it'll take you into the resource center. Let me do one more. I'm going to try a surname here. And so, yeah, so you'll see ancestors, and then resources, and then the surname pages. So we'll get into some of those, but that's how the search works. So that's a really useful tool if you don't know where else to start. If you are not sure if you have Melungeon ancestry yet and you're wanting to get more information on that as a possibility, Heather and I co-authored this blog post, which I've featured here. There's only 2 in the blog right now. Thanks to Heather, she did a seasonal one. This is one of them. So you can click to go to that and get more information. There's all kinds of clues that may give you indicators as to whether or not you're Melungeon. I do not have an email sign up yet on the front page, but by the way, if you want information on posts that have been recently written or any other types of updates, you can sign up there. Other resources for folks trying to find out about their Melungeon ancestry or to learn about Melungeon history can go to the Melungeons here. And I'll be continuing to work on this and fill that out. And also the surname list, which has Melungeon as well as some of the other mixed ancestry groups. And you can also click on these for more information.
Yeah, you mean like, can they click on the surname and like find out more?
Yeah, so I'll just show you. Yeah, I wasn't sure when to do that,
Awesome.
but let me go ahead and do that. So
Okay.
let's find a good example here. So Collins. And anytime you see this black background, you're inside now what I'm calling the Cave of Clues. It's kind of a cheesy name, but that's where all the data that we're entering into the website will be stored. And so you'll see it on these pages. So if you click on one of those pages like the ancestor or lists and rules that I mentioned where the template is not displaying, it won't be black on the background and you'll just see it'll look, I'll show you, it'll look kind of messy. But anyway, yeah, so you can go to these pages under the notes for each of the surnames and ancestors and all the different types of pages. I'll really be adding a lot of research here as far as tying the Collins Melungeons into the other Collins groups and how those are related. And so this right now is very basic compared to what you will see here in the coming months. And like I said, I'll be asking for users to submit data as well. But yeah, so you'll see variations here. This should have ancestors. Those are down right now. Any places that mentions the surname Collins in the title of the place or where they appear on records, You'll see all the places that are relevant to that surname. You'll see the groups that they're connected to. This could either be through a book that I read, or a list that was published with surnames, or, so I'm gathering the connections here. And this is also to highlight the fact that the Melungeon surname list is just a start. Melungeon surnames are not just Melungeon, they're also Scotch Irish, English, all different things. So it's just, to highlight that as well. But so yeah, you can click on any of these and go to those pages. And like I said, this is all considered inside the Cave of Clues, and some of these are the alignment's a little off. But so let me go back to Collins real quick. So there's 3 sections of resources on each of the pages. And so you'll see the records where those surnames are found. And the records that I have entered right now are just the ones that are contain the core Melungeon family. So you can kind of compare your own family and see, if they are in the same censuses, maybe. The resources that mention that name specifically. So if there's a book on Collins' genealogy or Collins' family history, those would go here. I don't have any entered at the moment. And then mentions are if Collins is in the the index. So I'm going through all the indexes of any of the books that I come across and entering those, and those will then appear under that surname. I'll be adding more information to the bottom of pages as well, but that's for now. And then there will be a form here soon on the surname pages and other pages where I'm collecting data or sources for each. You can also discuss in the forum if you're a member. But yeah, that's the summary of how the pages are set up. And like I said, there's a lot of filling out on all of those to do.
That's fantastic. It looks great.
Thank you. So those are the 3 main things right now for determining Melungeon ancestry. And like I said, that's just a start. But so the Resource Center was kind of the basis for starting this. I was getting my resources organized. At first, I felt like there wasn't a lot of Melungeon materials out there. And when I started looking, I was like, there's more than I thought. So I got all of those in here, as well as a lot of the historically relevant regional materials and genealogy resources, other related mixed ancestry and indigenous groups, for people of color. So once you get into the Resource Center, you can filter. So if you only want to see Melungeon materials, for instance, you can click Melungeons under category. And you'll get all your results here. Now there's different types of results, and I'll go through those just really quickly just to show you what you might discover. But for instance, for books. So this one is the Melungeons. This is the one by John Gould. Some of these you can read online. So if you click read this book, well, let me scroll down first. So you'll see other details here. A lot of times there will be a significant amount of terms entered that you can see if this is something you might want to look at or not. So if you think you want to read the book, you can go, and some of them, I'm showing you this as an example. I want to get a lot more of these into the Resource Center where you can read them right online through the Internet Archive. Sometimes they will have it where you have to create an account and check out the book, kind of like you would in a library before you can read the whole thing. Other types of books, buttons that you might discover. Let me see if I can find a good example. So this is Wayne Winkler's book on Melungeons, and so you can see here, so I went through the index and added all the places and peoples that are listed in this book, so you can decide if that's one that might be helpful in your research. You can either click on any of those pages to see more, or so in the Resource Center, I do have buttons, and they are affiliate links, just for disclosure, but you can buy the book. It'll take you to my bookshop at bookshop.org. And the reason I chose to do this instead of linking to Amazon is because this organization has raised over $41 million for local bookstores. You can actually choose your local bookstore right here, and that's where the funds will go. So these are priced a little higher, than you'll see on Amazon, but that way we're not, we're doing the right thing. So you can also, I have on this book, but there are some books that are harder to find. Like this one, I think you mentioned that people ask about. So between myself and some of our founding members who I've talked to, we have some of these books that are harder to find. There is a link to buy them, but it goes to like a used directory where a lot of them sometimes are high priced or they're not available at all. So we have an option now where you can request lookup. And so if you scroll down and you see that any of your ancestors' names are mentioned, or there's something else that you want to find out or see how it was discussed within that resource, then what you can do is reach out via this link. And for Melungeon Roots members, you can submit 3 of these per month, and it has a suggested donation amount, but just ignore that. And what you'll get is after you enter the title and the search term, the index term that's listed on that page that you want to find out about, you'll get this in your email, which is just a brief excerpt of where that term was mentioned. And that's pretty much all that we can do. We don't want to send whole pages or anything, because we're encouraging people to support the authors of these works if possible. So if you are not a member, we ask that you make just a small donation to help cover the expense of doing that and just to support the project in general. So you have 3 types of buttons. You have read this book, buy this book, or request a lookup. On articles, so you can filter right here. Let me take Melungeon, or no, let me leave that, and let me do articles. And I'll show you different scenarios for those, because you would navigate that in a different way. So let me find an example here. So the majority of these will take you to a website where you can read 100 articles for free every month, called JSTOR, where you sign up for a free account. But some of them have other, will take you to other types of pages. Like this one's Ohio State University. And sometimes you gotta kind of look around. Like this one has a download link that's down here in a random place at the bottom. So just kind of look around. If it says read this article, that means I have confirmed that there's a way to do that. And so sometimes you just have to check around. Let me see another example here. Okay, here's a good one. So like on this page, it'll take you to, the article was called Melungeon's Multi-Ethnic Population, which is a really good article to read. It's full of data, but when you are taken to the website, you just kind of search around. So I thought I would point that out, because sometimes you land on a page and you're like, I'm not reading the article, but there is a way to do it. If I put that button there, you will find it. And then let me find one more example of what you'll see on JSTOR. I don't know if it's this one. Here's one. Okay. I'm sorry for not being.
No, you're fine.
Okay. So if you click on read this article, the majority of the articles will take you to JSTOR. You can click here and sign up for an account, and you can read 100 articles a month for free. So that's really helpful. And then there are other types of resources in the Resource Center. There's audio, like your podcast episodes, which I can go ahead and show what those pages look like. And those are set up a little bit different. You got the special treat. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks.
I know. No, but because they are audio, they're set up in a different way. So yeah, of course, that one timed out for some reason. Okay, so you can listen on Spotify, listen on Apple, and read the podcast at the same time, which is what I like to do. I've always been a very visual person, so I like listening and reading because I can process information better that way. Just makes it more accessible as well to anyone with disability. So yeah, and then you can scroll down and get more information. And while I'm thinking about it, that's pretty much sums up the Resource Center anyway. So we are collaborating with the Melungeon Heritage Association on this project, and also Vardy Community Historical Society. And we're creating behind these buttons, which isn't really clear, behind these logos, I should say, you can reach their page. And there's actually the first archive that I created. I did that kind of fast, but okay. So in the center here, you'll click Podcast Archive, and it'll take you right to a full archive of season 1 through 5 for the Melungeon Voices podcast. It's my eventual goal to go through all the transcripts and pull the terms out of those and get those all filtered here so that they're easily, they're basically cataloged and you can easily find what you're looking for. And so they're not only in the Resource Center, but they also have their own archive there.
That's great.
So yeah, and then I call this a digital garden project, which I just wanted to mention that real quick. And I call it that because it is a work in progress, but also because it's very non-linear. And as you maybe can tell, all the pages are kind of connected. So the Resource Center is connected to the Cave of Clues, and it's all, here I can give you a visual. On the About page, I didn't really explain what this image is, but this is kind of visual example. These are all the little loose pages that are not connected to anything yet. And then as we make connections, we're forming this really huge network of like just research materials and data. And I think though, let me see here. Those are the features that are ready right now. And I can show you now some of the pages that I showed you are within the Cave of Clues, and I'll show you what that is. So this is where I'm going to house all the data that both I'm gathering from the resources that you saw in the resource, and I'm kind of extracting as I go through things. I'm just extracting data and I'm putting it in basically databases behind the scenes, and now working to get that pulled to the front end so that we can use it in new ways. So we've got all these different categories that you can go straight to those, or I'm calling them pods because that's the platform I'm using to build this, or you can go down and browse all, and it just shows a full list of all the pages. Under each section, you'll see how many post types there are of that kind. You'll see over here, there are example pages, and then what's contained on each page. And this is just to kind of show you what's to come, but also I will starting now be keeping this more updated as more data is entered. So there will be soon, when you are a member and you sign in, you'll be dropped on a member portal, and it will allow you a chance to submit data soon, which I'm really excited about. So before you request a new page to be created, you definitely want to go down to this browse all and go through, like if you want your ancestor added, if they're already there, then you would not want to request a new page because we are trying to avoid duplicates and things like that. But we can get all into those details. If you become a member, I'll be updating you on that process soon. Okay, so I'm just going to take a moment and look at my notes here real quick because there's so much here and I don't want to take more time than is necessary. So just give me 1 second here.
No, you're fine. This is extremely helpful.
This is very comprehensive. This is like a living library.
I have to say this too, and I meant to say this at the very beginning, that I really thank our existing members for hanging in there, because it seems like slow progress, but I can assure you I am working every waking hour, as my husband says, on this project, and a lot of it is still invisible. It's like behind the scenes, but I've made the structure like just in a way that it's going to be really useful. I need to pull all of that into the front end of things. So thank you to our existing members for sticking with us. And I just have to say, I have been not great at communicating all the updates that are going on, but this way of showing it is really helpful. So
exactly.
Yeah, let me go back here for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the two main areas are really the Resource Center and the Cave of Clues. And then let me also show you. So priority right now, and I just started working on this, so it's also a little bare, but the American Revolution page. Okay, so this is I consider it a sub project of the Melungeon Roots website, which is, this is made possible, as Heather mentioned, in part by the VA 250 grant. And this will focus, be a space that will focus on the contributions and significance of Melungeons and mixed ancestry people. Also, African Americans, both free and enslaved, and indigenous tribes during the American Revolution, because they were all very involved. In this space, you'll soon find this historical timeline, which I'm working on. This was just added. This is all very fresh and new. So I'll be adding this historical timeline. You'll see these will lead to then detailed pages about some of the specific events that are closely tied to our ancestors' history. You'll see a resource carousel, which will have a selection of materials relevant to the American Revolution. And then it'll be featuring some of our our Revolutionary War ancestors. There will be a list of links to research tools and searches that you can do online at other websites, as well as this one, to find information on those ancestors, as well as some curated content that's specific to the American Revolution. And I just mentioned curated content, Heather, and I think I mentioned this to you before as an idea, but I finally got this working. So when I mentioned curated content, I'm going to be also filling the site up with, and I'll come back to those bookshelves as well, with content from around the web. And I'm really excited about this because I haven't been capable yet of finding the time to produce a lot of valuable content, but I want to bring that to our visitors and our members. So we've got these sections here: genealogy, Melungeon, and history. And these are from around the web. You've got YouTube, NYTN. And if it says RSS, these are from blogs around the web. You've got Instagram. This is History Before Us, some of his posts. So just really bringing a lot more content. This is just an example, but if you go to the content hub here, I'm going to add more categories and stuff, but I'm going to be sprinkling these all over, including the American Revolution page, because I can just pull all kinds of data that way that's helpful as well. And if you click, these are all external, so these are going to take you to some pages, and I'm very selective where I'm sending you, so you're not going to get junk there. It's going to be really relevant stuff. So on the home page now, you can go to these bookshelves where you'll find resources on different topics. There's so much you can click on. So if you're not already an MHA member, or we're, like I said, collaborating also with the Vardy Community Historical Society now as well. But they both have really great newsletters, which I just decided that I need to feature. And so these will actually take you to their website. And so the MHA newsletter is a benefit of being a member, one of the many benefits. And then for the Vardy Community Historical Society, they have instructions on signing up for their newsletter as well. I'm not sure how we're doing. I just looked at the clock. We're kind of pushed on time here. So I'll just show you a couple really quick things here. There are newspaper clippings, which I'm able to embed and share with you from newspaper.com. And you should be able to, they're really slow loading because they're embedded, but you can click on any of these and read those at their website. And yeah, there's some other fun stuff here, and you can just kind of click around and see. We have some of your previous podcast guests, Heather, that are in fields of healing and medicine, whether it's folk medicine or soul work or just meditative practices like Dr. Melissa Carver. So I've created this page too that I'm excited about to highlight some of their work called Medicine and Muses, because I feel like I feel like it just goes with the Melungeon research, is that there's so much that surfaces that we kind of maybe need to process, and then just the world in general, as we all are feeling it right now. We just I felt like that I am autistic and ADHD, so the Melungeon Ridge project is my special interest, the one that I'm going really deep on. But then I have to have these little side projects as well. So I've created this space too for that. So let's say at this point you want to become a member. Okay, so you would go up here and click sign up. And we have 5 different membership options now. And there are 2 free options. If you are a member of the Melungeon Heritage Association, you can sign up for free. If you are a member of the Vardy Community Historical Society, you can sign up for free. Okay. With that, I will also say you receive the same benefits here that are listed under the Hillfolk Plus. I wasn't very clear on that up here in the description, but it's the same benefits. The only difference on this one, the Hillfolk Plus, this is what most of our members are under now. The only difference is that the $6 a month really just helps support the project. It is set up as a business, but I can tell you that it's basically a nonprofit. So we're asking for funding to get things rolling, and we would really appreciate your support. So if you decide either now or later on that you'd like to do that, you have that option. If you are not an MHA member, VCHS member yet, and you just want to kind of scope things out, you can do this as well. However, this is what we recommend here. So in order to do that, you would just visit one of their websites first through these links and check out their details of their membership first and get signed up there, and then return and complete the process. And it's pretty straightforward. You're just going to check a box that says you're a member there. And then if you know what your registration or renewal date is, you can put that underneath. And if not, we'll just reach out to them for you and make sure that that's sorted out. We have another tier that if you want to, make a bigger impact, that you can sign up to be a mountain legend. And yeah, so the main benefit for becoming a member right now is access to the community and forums pages. And I will show you those very briefly. Is that okay, Heather? Are we okay on time? Or? Okay, I can't.
Sorry.
Yeah, I hear you nodding. Okay.
Yes, we're good.
So I will show you real quick.
A little bit later, so you're good.
Okay, so I'll show you. This is just a screenshot because I don't want to expose any private information. So this is a screenshot of what it looks like inside the main community page. So you'll see Heather and I posting here, or other members, and there are groups that you can click on, and the forums on the side. There's a member directory where you can see others, their research interests, and possibly connect with relatives and others there. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead just really quick here and click sign up so I can show you a couple other things. And I'm almost done, by the way. So, okay.
You're good.
Okay.
While you're doing that, Jess, I just want to say that this is a wonderful kickoff for this season of the Melungeon Voices podcast, because we are talking all about Virginia and all the Melungeon folks from around that region. So any new viewers or listeners coming to us for the first time, I think this is such a great way for them to learn all the things right off the bat and dive in. So this is perfect.
Oh, yes. Thank you. And I actually just saw an event that Heather had posted about, that's about Bertie County. Oh, isn't there free people of color that fought in the revolution? Yes. And I know I have ancestors from Bertie County, so I am really trying to pull from the revolution for this to go along with the Melungeon Voices podcast season, and that page that I'm creating. And it's not just a page, by the way; it's going to be multiple pages that are, all pulled together. But yeah, I want to really focus on that as well. So I'm glad you mentioned that as far as the Virginia. Or wait, is Bertie County? That's North Carolina.
Well, that's North Carolina, but yeah,
I am focused on those same regions, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll be
what I'm saying.
Right, and we'll be using the page that Jess created, so for future episodes of the podcast, content from each episode will be put upon that page so people can go back and, find more information on our podcast guests that we will be having in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah. Heather and I have just started to kind of work on that. There's been so much going on behind the scenes, and yeah, we are definitely putting a plan together. But like I said, it will be multiple pages, and yes, it will be directly corresponding to those episodes this season. So when you sign up, I'm logged in under the test account I just created, but I clicked on my own profile so you can kind of see. But it's, I think, very similar to what you would see on like Facebook or somewhere. You can connect with other people. You can fill out your profile information, and I have it here where you can add research interests as well. These are like on a drop down menu right now, so if you don't see your surnames and places and ancestors, just tell me and I'll add those. There's not a good way to like import from a spreadsheet like in a lot of the other areas, so I've kind of had to enter those manually, so just tell me. And any other, by the way, feedback that you have or something that's not working right or that you want to see happen, just let me know. If you do decide to become a member, and you, like I said, soon you'll be directed to a member portal at login. There's a survey there, and you'll get to make a selection of what you feel is the most important in progress feature that you would like to see, come live first on the website, because I've showed you there's multiple different areas. So you'll get to choose what areas you feel are most important that you'd like to see happen first, so that I kind of know I'm being pulled in so many directions, so that I know where to go next and what to do next. So then anyway, just real quick here. So you've got connections, which is who you're connected to. I'm not going to click on a lot of these because, like I said, this is a private space, but I can click on some. I'll go to groups, and so we've got like some descendant groups set up, some research groups set up, and these research groups, you can use collaborative documents to work together. Then we've got the annual union conference, the MHA annual union conference group that'll be active, leading up to those events each year, and the welcome home group, which you're automatically added to. And anytime that I post information there, you'll get a little email update saying what's going on there. And then the forums page. Okay, those are the forums that I've started, which are none as of yet, but I'll be going in. I've been drafting a lot of those, and I'll be starting some discussions. But let me show you the main forums page real quick. So we've got these are like the main categories, and then underneath you've got the subcategories, and then there will be discussions started under those. And then if you want to create a new forum, search for it first, please, here. And if nothing shows up, like I can do Collins. And if there's a Collins ancestor that I want to talk about and there's not a discussion started yet, I can go ahead and click add a new forum. You'll get a pop-up. You can title it and then choose which category it's under, and I'll get that set up for you. A lot of this will be much improved in the future, but for now it may take up to 24 hours to get that added because I'm doing all that manually. So one of the first things you're going to want to do if you do decide to become a member, and we hope that you will, is under notifications. I'm sorry, I think I clicked on the wrong thing. Okay. Oh, I'm glad that was the test account. Okay, so notifications is where you'll actually see all of your personal notifications. That's not what I meant to click on. Under, let's see. Okay, it's account. Under account, you will go to notification settings. And here you can decide what you want to hear about and by what method, email or web. So there's like little web notifications that you can turn on. And let's say I update an ancestor or add an ancestor page, it'll give you a little pop-up down here. if you don't want those, just turn all the web stuff off. You have to like authorize it through your browser anyway, so you may not get that if you don't authorize it. But and then go through and see what you want to receive by email. So the default setting is that you'll get notified about everything. So you definitely want to go there first and go through and see what you want to use or not. So I think the only other thing that I wanted to say real quick that I just realized I forgot to mention is that in the blog, there's going to be 2 different types of articles. There's going to be regular blog posts and then something we're calling special articles. And I'm going to be reaching out to a lot of our founding members who are people who are more experienced and have more knowledge in a lot of these topics than I do. I am just someone who's passionate about learning, but I'm not an expert. So please know that. But I have installed all kinds of fun tools on this publishing platform that I'm working on for the blog, where they will be able to add they and myself will be able to add all different kinds of like tables and charts, so we can kind of do some storytelling with data. We can do in-text citations and bibliographies, and just let's see, what else was it? Yeah, just fun stuff like that. So I think that is it. I am going to be learning Roots Magic, which is a family tree software, and posting about that. So stay tuned. That's one of my next things that I want to do, so I can just get really serious. Heather mentioned I'm an amateur genealogist, but I would say very amateur, very casual researcher. But now I'm ready to take my genealogy research more seriously and like start keeping a log and tracking sources and negative evidence and doing a lot of like cluster research and other stuff like that. So the reason that I chose Roots Magic specifically for Melungeon ancestry research is they have this new associations feature. And it allows you to track relationships that are like non-traditional, like if there's a partner who's not a spouse, or friends, associates, neighbors, if someone's adopted, enslavers and enslaved, just all kinds of relationships that you can track on Roots Magic. So, and I'm sorry, I don't think I mentioned that. I'm sorry. I did the original tutorial recording, and now I'm getting mixed up if I mentioned it now or then. But so anyway, I will be discussing a lot of that in the blog as well. So yeah, sorry to take up so much time. I just wanted to try to get as much in as possible, because I feel like there's so much to see and do on here, and there's a lot that's in progress. And I just want to make sure everyone knows what's available and what's coming, so they can let me know what's important to them.
No, this has been great, Jess. No apologies needed. You have created something so, like I said, comprehensive. And earlier we talked about what inspires you, but I want you to know that you're an inspiration for those looking up their Melungeon roots, and just continuing to pursue the culture and the history and bring it forward for future generations. And the fact that you can connect with others on here, I think, is so important, because a culture cannot survive unless we are connecting with others within our own community. So thank you for creating this.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, I'm glad that I was able to do this today. And, I'm really excited about the community space. I was a little hesitant at first because, like I said, I'm not on social media. I'm not familiar with that kind of interaction, but I do feel like I did that on purpose to have a space for myself where I feel comfortable talking about some of these things, because now, especially with like the AI bots and stuff, they will scan the whole internet and just share your information with whoever asks. And so I don't feel comfortable with a lot of that stuff. And I don't think a lot of other people are either at this point. So privacy is huge for me. And I think having this as like a private space allows us not only to get serious about it, but to just, just really make some deeper connections. So hopefully. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Jess, for taking the time today to introduce us to this amazing new website. Like I had said earlier, this is going to be so helpful for people just learning about their Melungeon ancestry. Like I said, we get so many emails, and this is just phenomenal. People can now have a one-stop place to go and learn about this ancestry, their Melungeon ancestry. that they just discovered, but even for people who know about their Melungeon ancestry and they want to learn more, or they want to connect to other people who are Melungeon descendants. So that's what, we've got is resources and a community for people with this wonderful ancestry. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Heather. Yeah, you had said something like maybe eventually it'd be like the ancestry of for Melungeon, ancestry.com for Melungeons. And I was like, that is so cool. Because now when I'm using that website, I'm like, I really could do a lot of these things. Like, I don't know if I pulled up like the census search, but there will be like record searches and stuff where you can go through and search records. Like a lot of this is still just on the back end and I'm pulling it into the website, but there's really so much to come. And I think like the number one way that people can help right now is just reach out, especially if you're a new member. But even if you're just a visitor to the website, just let me know like what's important to you. And I think some people hesitate to give feedback because they don't want to offend or whatever. But I'm doing more of the work on the website, and not using it as much. So if there's an issue, it might sit there for a while before I even notice. So please just tell me if you're running into something over and over, especially that is important to you, that it get fixed or that you want to see filled out. Just let me know and I'll make sure to make that happen.
Awesome. Thank you, Jess.
Sure. Thank you, Heather.
Was there anything else you wanted to share or say?
I don't think so. Like I said, I apologize because I am tired. Did I show the core Melungeon tree too, right? Or no? That I was working on that? I don't think I did.
I don't think you did.
So anyway, you can kind of explore. I won't take more time, but you can explore. We are creating like a core Melungeon tree. There's so much in the works. The interactive map. There's just a lot in the works. So yeah, just explore. And I don't know. I think I said that where if I send you an email that says something was updated and you don't see it on your browser, please just make sure, like I said, I have issues with this all the time where if you don't clear your browsing data and your cookies, it's not going to show up. So you may be looking at an older version of the website. So I guess that's like my main tip and I will be communicating some updates starting now in a lot more regular fashion. So stay tuned.
Fantastic. Yes. And once again, that's melungeonroots.com. So this is wonderful. Thank you so much, Jess. Thank you, Brooke, also for being here. We've got a great podcast season for everyone. Future episodes will be live monthly. Next month's episode, which will be on Sunday, November 16th at 2 p.m. We will be speaking to several members of the nonprofit organization, the Daughters of the American Revolution. They have some very exciting news for the Melungeon community, and you're not going to want to miss it. Once again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Brooke. And we'll see everyone on the next episode of the Melungeon Voices podcast.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.
Thanks.
We've traveled very far. Where we've been is who we are. We are standing proud and strong. We'll use our strength to carry on. We are Melungeon. We are Melungeon. Our voices shouting our stories of our defeats and victories. We're unified, we stand as one.